So picking up rather, where we left off, we have this image here, right, and it's as the template. Now let's actually we'll double click on this. We'll name it placed image toast. Now I have my second layer here, which I'm going to use the pen tool to go around it. So we're going to get the pen tool, shortcut of P, and right now there's nothing on it, so we're going to go ahead and get default. Let's do red because that's just the easiest one. We're going to do a stroke of 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go around this. Now when you're first looking at using a image and where to start, you want to start in a place that has no curve to it and kind of starts at a point you can kind of just click. So you could either start right here in this divot, over here in this divot, either one of those. Now when I draw this, I'm actually just going to pay attention to the top, and then we'll come back and do the kind of dimensionality to it in a second. So let's go ahead and start. So to zoom in, I can either do Command plus, or I'm going to do Command spacebar. Allows me to click and drag and get into this spot. That was a little bit too much, but we're going to do that. Spacebar allows me to move around. These are common things inside of Illustrator that they're going to be your friends, because this is really, you need to kind of get close in order to see what you're doing. So we're going to start here. Now when you're using the pen tool to draw, you want to make sure that as you're dragging your handlebars out, you want to drag it in the direction of the next point. So in this case, I'm going to click and drag, and you can see not only did it form around the curve, but now it's already headed to my next point. Now you can be, for something like this, you could be very specific, and I could go around all these curves, right? So you can see I'm just clicking and dragging, and I'm dragging in the direction that my next point is going to go. So now I'm going to make this curve coming around here, and again, I want to make sure that it kind of curves really smoothly coming around here. Now, using the pen tool is something that takes some practice. In fact, my first job, that's all I did was create paths. Now I did it in Photoshop and then I did it in some Illustrator, but it's the same kind of function. We're making these clipping paths, or these point-to-point paths. Now here's the really cool part. Okay. So now I want to make my next curve, but you know what? It needs to start at this 0 point here, because this just doesn't cut it. So remember, just go ahead and click on that, and that gives you back to basically normal as if you just clicked on it. And now I can make these nice curves into it. And it's the same thing here. Just click on that point, and I start anew, and now I can make this connection. Now you can see then I'm not worrying about all the kind of pits and grooves that this has, and then we're going to finish that off, and there we go. So let's zoom out. That is looking pretty good. I'm actually going to do a new layer and lock this first layer because I don't want it to get in the way of what I'm doing here. I am now going to create this kind of bottom layer, and I'm going to choose not to necessarily pay attention to every little in and out that's there. We're going to make this curve nice. All right, and just paying attention to where we're going. Again, in here, I can kind of click, and now I have my curve again. And again, you can see my points, my handlebars are going in the direction that I want my next point to go. And we're going to lock this layer, and we're going to create another new layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to create this kind of as a square. And even though it's kind of rounded, I kind of messed that up. But you know what? Let's do this. Before I join that together, I'm actually going to move this point and move this one back. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to do that. I'm just doing it so I have a better image, right? So now I'm going to select this, and now I'm going to curve these points that are here. And this wouldn't have as much curve to it. Kind of whatever you want. All right, so now I'm going to do new. Well, I should have done new. We're going to lock this underneath it. And then I'm going to make up, because I curved that and this didn't really have a curve, I'm kind of making up my own dimension here a little bit. And I'm going to curve this and select this and curve it. right? You could change it. You could do something else. Maybe there needs to be more coming from, but you get the general idea. Now I can turn that off, and here I have my toast that's buttered, and I could add in all sorts of other stuff, color it, and do all that kind of stuff. But that is a real simple way of using the pen tool to draw around shapes.